Greetings, sixth graders. I apologize that the last recording got cut off. It was meant to be one long one, but so here's the second part. Right here in this section is the answer to number 6. Who is eating lunch in the annex at 2 o'clock and why does it bother them? So look here and I'll circle it when we get there. The next entry is really funny. I want to see if you guys can tell what's going on because Anne is very delicate in how she writes things of this nature, so I want to see if you guys can catch it. All right, let's finish this off.
Tuesday, 9 May 1944. Dear Kitty, I finished my story of Ellen the Fairy. I have copied it once on nice note paper. It certainly looks very attractive, but is it really enough for Daddy's birthday? I don't know. Margot and Mummy have both written poems for him. Mr. Crawler came upstairs this afternoon with the news that Mrs. B., who used to act as a demonstrator for the business, wants to eat her boxed lunch in the office here at 2 o'clock every afternoon. Think of it! No one can come upstairs any more. The potatoes cannot be delivered. Ellie can't have any lunch. We can't go to the W.C. We mustn't move, etc., etc. We thought up the wildest and most varied suggestions to wheedle her away. Von Dawn thought that a good laxative in her coffee would be sufficient. "No," replied Coupouis, "I beg of you not. Then we'd never get her off the box." Resounding laughter. "Off the box?" asked Mrs. Von Dawn. "What does that mean?" An explanation followed. "Can I always use it?" she then asked stupidly. "Imagine it," Ellie giggled. "If one asked for the box in Biencourt's, they wouldn't even understand what you mean." "Oh, Kit, it's such wonderful weather. If only I could go outdoors. Yours, Anna. Wednesday, 10 May 1944. Dear Kitty, we were sitting in the attic doing some French yesterday afternoon when I suddenly heard water pattering down behind me. I asked Pater what it could be, but he didn't even reply, simply tore up to the loft where the source of the disaster was, and pushed Moushy, who, because of the wet earth box, had sat down beside it, harshly back to the right place. A great din and disturbance followed, and Moushy, who had finished by that time, dashed downstairs. Moushy, seeking the convenience of something similar to his box, had chosen some wood shavings. The pool had trickled down from the loft into the attic immediately, and unfortunately landed just beside and in the barrel of potatoes. The ceiling was dripping, and as the attic floor is not free from holes either, several yellow drips came to the ceiling into the dining room, between a pile of stockings and some books, which were lying on the table. I was doubled up with laughter. It really was a scream. There was Moushy crouching under a chair, Pater with water, bleaching powder, and floor-cloth, and Von Dawn trying to soothe everyone. The calamity was soon over, but it's a well-known fact that cats' puddles positively stink. The potatoes proved this only too clearly, and also the wood shavings that Daddy collected in a bucket to be burned. Poor Moushy! How were you to know that peat is unobtainable? Yours, Anna.
Did you guys catch what's going on? Moushy is relieving himself upstairs, and I believe this is referring to the litter box, and he ends up going to, next to the litter box. I know my cat does that sometimes. It's really frustrating. And I'm just going to say it, the pee comes through the ceiling. And it's funny because this scene is in the movie that I'm hoping to show you guys later. But it happens earlier on, and I thought, oh, that's so crazy. That wouldn't have happened. And sure enough, it happens. But they, much later in the book than earlier in the movie. But that made me laugh. All right, let's continue.
P.S. Our beloved Queen spoke to us yesterday and this evening. She is taking a holiday in order to be strong for her return to Holland. She used words like, "Soon, when I am back, speedy liberation, heroism, and heavy burdens." A speech by Gerbrandy followed. A clergyman concluded with a prayer to God to take care of the Jews, the people in concentration camps, in prisons, and in Germany. Yours, Anna. Thursday, 11 May 1944. Dear Kitty, I'm frightfully busy at the moment, and although it sounds mad, I haven't had time to get through my pile of work. Shall I tell you briefly what I have got to do? Well, then, by tomorrow I must finish reading the first part of Galileo Galilei. as it has to be returned to the library. I only started it yesterday, but I shall manage it. Next week I have got to read Palestine at the Crossroads, and the second part of Galilei. Next I finished reading the first part of the biography of the Emperor Charles V yesterday, and it's essential that I work out all the diagrams and family trees that I have collected from it. After that, I have 3 pages of foreign words gathered from various books, which have all got to be recited, written down, and learned. Number 4 is that my film stars are all mixed up together, and are simply gasping to be tidied up. However, as such a clearance would take several days, and since Professor Anna, as she's already said, is choked with work, the chaos will have to remain a chaos. Next, Theseus, Oedipus, Peleus, Orpheus, Jason, and Hercules are all awaiting their turn to be arranged, as their different deeds lie criss-cross in my mind like fancy threads in a dress. It's also high time Myron and Phidias had some treatment, if they wish to remain at all coherent. Likewise it's the same with the 7 or 9 years' war. I'm mixing everything up together at this rate. Yes, but what can one do with such a memory? Think how forgetful I shall be when I'm 80. Oh, something else. The Bible. How long is it still going to take before I meet the bathing Susanna? And what do they mean by the guilt of Sodom and Gomorrah? Oh, there is such a terrible lot to find out and to learn. And in the meantime, I've left Liselette of the Faults completely in the lurch. Kitty, can you see that I'm just about bursting? Now, about something else. You've known for a long time that my greatest wish is to become a journalist some day, and later on a famous writer. Whether these leanings towards greatness, or insanity, will ever materialize remains to be seen, but I certainly have the subjects in my mind. In any case, I want to publish a book entitled Het Octawis after the war. Whether I shall succeed or not I cannot say, but my diary will be a great help. I have other ideas as well besides Het Octawis, but I will write more fully about them some other time, when they have taken a clearer form in my mind. Yours, Anna.
I'd like to ask that you guys read this paragraph again to yourselves, either from the video or from the book. It gave me pause. It made me stop and just imagine her writing this, imagining her ambitions, things that she wants to do. She's worked very hard on this diary. It's not a secret. She's revised it. She is very specific in the memories that she leaves in here. She makes sure that we, or Kitty, knows what's going on in the war and how she's feeling. She updates us on conflicts that have happened previously, just like any great author would. And so if you're writing about her on your character card, I would write this down. My greatest wish, it's right here. She wants to be a journalist and someday a famous writer. Well, she got half of that. She didn't end up being a journalist, but she's definitely one of the most famous writers of all time. And she even named her book, even before she knew it was going to be a book, Het Achterhuis. If you guys remember, in Dutch that means the house behind, which in English we've translated it to the secret annex, but the Het Achterhuis. It just really makes me think. All right, that's the reading for today. We answered number 5 and number 6, and we'll continue tomorrow. Have a blessed day.